And we're live.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hacks Chat. I'm your king hack, your master hack, RT Bear. Welcome to Hack Shack Studios. We're actually downstairs right now at the, what would you call this, the downstairs wing of Hack Shack Studios.
The computer wing.
The computer wing. And with me is Taylor Grasso. Say hi.
Hi everyone, I'll be reading your chat.
Yeah, she'll be chiming in too. This is a full-on Hacks Chat, so we'll be rapping with you. So, yeah, we're going to make good on our promise today. So we're going to talk and show you what this whole remastered nonsense is all about. Actually, it's not nonsense. It's cool stuff. It's basically been our lives for the last, how long, Taylor?
It feels like today, it feels like forever.
I don't know. This is kind of perfect timing for us because we usually end up thinking, oh, we're going to do a couple hours of remastered work and then we're going to move on to something else. So we wanted to do this chat actually, what was like
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
We love it, but it's also taken over.
Yeah, it's taken over existence. So so we've been working real hard on trying to get these pages all remastered and get them to you. And I've been asked, not a lot, but a couple people have asked, like, what is remastered, and what is, what does that mean? And so we have a couple examples of what it means. So also feel free to ask any questions before we get into this or during the show. So any questions are welcome because they actually help us go off on tangents. And I don't know, Taylor and I really like tangents. It's hard for us to focus.
For some reason.
For some reason.
But yeah, I will read your questions, so go ahead. Chat
Yes.
with us.
Yes. Oh, and what we did today, I wish it was cleaner and tighter, but it's mind-boggling when you see the before and after. The detail that we put into this one page is pretty crazy, so I can't wait for you guys to see it. And I think it will be part of the campaign, and it will be colored up, but we just don't have it in any kind of shape for you to see right now. So yeah, welcome and ask questions. And one of the things we like is while we're hacks chatting, is that you guys are honorary hacks. So break out your pencils, your ink, your drawing utensils, your Wacom, and we can all doodle together. So
The Hack Shack, it's a little old place where we can ink together.
yes, I like that. I like this. We get to call the B-52s and get them involved here. So all right, so this is kind of this is the before. So this is 1994. So this is what I looked like 25 years ago. And so one of the main reasons I wanted to do this is just to give this work a new life and bring it into the 21st century. So some of the line work's a little dated, some of the drawing is a little over exaggerated, very 90s. So I want to kind of streamline it down and make it a lot more contemporary. So that's one of the main reasons, and to give somebody, give you guys a whole new perspective on the story. So panel 1, this is pretty cool. I still like the drawing. I like the ink work. One of the things we're doing in the remasters, we're streamlining things down and we're simplifying and trying to be a little bit more contemporary with it. So we have that, and then we have black leaping down, and you can kind of see some of the thigh areas a little overblown, little overly designed as far as the exaggerated muscles. and some of the car structure is a little weak. And another one of the things, the main thing, is that in 1994, the comic book formats were different. They weren't as tall. They were wider. They were wider. They weren't tall. So sorry about that. I bumped the camera. And
I think people think you're doing a portfolio review of yourself right now.
I kind of am. Yeah, yeah. And so anyway, yeah. That's kind of the fun of this. So then we go into the contemporary. So the blacks are a lot more defined. The drawing is a lot more structured. The line work is a lot more deliberate, a lot thicker, a little bit more substance than style. And so, you can tell.
Feast your eyes on that.
Yeah, thanks. So you can see the line work and the drawing is a lot more refined, a lot more simplified, where even like if you look at some of the eyes, like on this first panel, and then you look at the eyes in here, they're a lot more structured, they're in the right place. In this one, this one's a little off, and they're not quite level with each other. So I went in and digitally reshaped them, but also uniformed them up and structured up the nose and the helmet. The helmet is a little bit more streamlined, and it's slightly redesigned, so there's more curves to it. I think it looks a lot better, a lot more streamlined, and the hair's a little bit more. There's a couple more strands and things in the hair. But where we have Reed here, aka Black, leaping off the building, you can see the thigh is a lot more streamlined, and the drawing is a lot smooth. Like the muscles and stuff are a lot smoother, and some of the musculature isn't quite as bulky. And one of the things I used to do quite a bit is I used to make really, really big hands. Look at this hand right here. And then you can see the hand and the wrist are a lot more like a real person's would be. This hand over here, our right, his left, is still a little big, but it's because it's coming forward. And so you can see that the blacks are a lot more solid. And I like it better because the character's name's Black. It's not like, Hatchy or or Gray. So there's a lot more solid blacks. I like it better. I think it's more dramatic. And so Gray here.
May I just say, I think Hatchy should be the Hack Shack mascot.
Ooh. If there's any artists out there, draw up a Hatchy and we'll post it. Whatever Hatchy would look like, I have no idea. Do you have any ideas for Hatchy, Taylor?
Extra hatched, extra thick.
Ooh, Hatchy could be like coming out of an egg. He was just hatched. He's Hatchy. Hatchy, the Hack Shack.
Hatchy Shack.
I can't even say it. We're really, really tired, you guys. Hatchy, the Hack Shack mascot. There you go. There you go. Okay, so this is the more structured up Gray. I'm not really sure what. I think the face.
Oh, he's changed.
Yeah, the face is totally reworked. Once again, it's more structured. The eyes have been moved down, and the face is a lot more. It's shorter, I guess, in length. It's a little long. I used to make nose bridges really long, like in here, from here to here. So they would really elongate the face. So I did that. I think the hat is a little more structured, and he's really cleaned up his suit. And I think the hand is redrawn as well. Yeah, the hand is redrawn. And so then we can get into the background elements, which you can see the car is
Oh yeah.
is better. Yeah, this window, I don't know what the heck I was thinking. It's just absolutely enormous. And so the new window is more in line with what the car. I looked up the car and for reference, and it's a lot more in this shape. So I went back to some reference on this and tried, and I added a fender and some details to the car. And also, you can see that compositionally it's been reworked. So there's more room on the new version and less room on this version because the new page layout for contemporary comics is longer, like I was saying. So you can see the added space down in here, and I added room to the top of the panel.
Oh, MK Geiger said the new page is much more visually appealing.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh. We work in a vacuum here, so we have no idea what people are going to think. So thank you.
Keep in mind, this car was drawn before the time of SketchUp.
Oh yeah, this is all. I had a Hot Wheel car, and I forget what type of car this is. So I was drawing it from a Hot Wheel car, and then I found reference to help me with this version because I don't have the Hot Wheel car anymore.
Oh.
And so one of the ideas here too is that Taylor and I were brainstorming about adding visual interest to the wall. So we added some visual interest because when you see the inside of the hospital, this is a mental hospital. This is a wall, and it's high security, so it's for crazies that are violent, which is the perfect place for Whitney Sung, aka White.
Crazy, driven, violent, and sexy.
And sexy. Oh, that was in a letters column, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you guys thought that was weird, that was something that a fan wrote way back in the day in a letters column describing Whitney.
One of the things we're doing on Hacks Chat is Taylor liked the letters so much that she was reading them live, and I think that was one of the reviews. Somebody said, those cool things. I think that's totally describes the character to a T. So yeah, we were adding more visual interest to the wall, so you can see there's a design, but also the design isn't just gratuitous. It's also the interior of the hospital has shapes like this. So we're trying to echo back to the hospital design to make it a little bit more coherent and cohesive as far as design. So one thing looking back on the work, I get to have hindsight, and so hindsight's always 2020. So the neat thing is I can come back and see it with fresh eyes and enhance in places as well and add. And so one of the things when Taylor and I were looking at this page is I blackened out these windows across the top. There's an atrium back here, and so they're all black. And so when we were thinking about color, we were like, it's kind of dead. Like, I know it's supposed to be night, but there's no life here. So especially when you throw color in there, you can bring life in. So right across here, we opened up all the windows. So it sounds easy enough until you actually try to do something like that digitally, and it becomes quite hard because you have to separate all that black from this barbed wire, and then you have to kind of redraw the barbed wire. So here we go. Comparative. Yeah. So it's a lot cleaner, and it's going to work for color a lot better. In '94, the birth of digital color was just starting to happen. So a lot of us weren't thinking about the color work as much because things mostly just depended on the pencils, storytelling, and the inks.
Oh, MK says, yeah, the editing would be frustrating and time consuming. And also Bootsy said, that's one big beautiful wall.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I pride myself on my walls. And then there's also like a little bit of design in the tower here, just to add to some of the, like I was saying, to make things more cohesive stylistically with the inside and outside of the hospital. So there's that page. I hope you guys like this journey so far. I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun going back on these pages.
Do you guys realize you're seeing like a professional comic book artist's growth from 1994 to now? I think that's pretty cool.
Ooh, I like that. I like the way you said that. I feel special now. Oh, look at this one. This is an extra treat. You guys have dialogue on this page.
Ooh.
Yeah, in the old days too. Yeah, we lettered things on the board. Go figure. It's not pre-digital, so this lettering is actually on the board.
They like the changes. The chat approves.
Oh, cool. Well, wait till you see some of this stuff.
This is one of the coolest ones, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So, should we do a dramatic reading?
Oh gosh.
The night is never quite quiet in Maltese institution for the criminally insane. Its corridors echo with the sounds of lost dreams and cruel despair. Sometimes the stealthy sounds signal another meaning.
Shh! Don't make any noise, and I'll move my hand away from your mouth.
Oh man,
Oh,
we cut out the
no!
worst stuff.
It's my favorite part of dialogue.
Okay, go ahead. Say the dialogue.
She says, "Get your hands off me, you pervert, or I'll eat your face."
That's what she says right here.
Yeah.
She says, "I'll eat your face."
I think she cut. Oh, there it is. Hush, Whitney. Everything is going to be okay. It's me.
Reed, I've come to get you out of here. He's so happy. I've come to save you.
Well, she's restrained. She can't eat his face.
Yeah, even though, well, I'm not going to give anything away.
Spoiler alert.
She may eat his face. That's all I'm... Oops, I said it. Damn it. Oh, yeah, this is a family show. I can't say damn it. Okay, so here's this. Let's get into the remastered version.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, jeez.
Just when you thought it couldn't get better.
Oh, jeez. So no lettering, though. So that's sad. But you can see I went over all the line work. So the line work is a lot more solid. It gives more of a solidity and structure to the drawing. There's shadow, because I felt like in the original, let's go back to the, you know what, I'm going to get rid of this.
Might as well.
Okay, and I'm going to get rid of this one so I can go back. Okay, so if you look at the second panel here as a comparison.
Title says it's after hours, Adult Swim. Certain language is now acceptable.
Well, in that case, heck yeah.
Such scamps.
I know. They want to hear us like just say bad words.
Shoot.
Darn. Dang. Scuttlebutt.
Ooh.
Oh, I said butt. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is before. So you can see that there's just, it's good, the drawing's good, but there's just not a lot of solidification, is that a word, to the lines.
I really like that drawing.
And yeah, the drawing, but then look,
Ooh.
you know, once it's beefed up, there's shadow. And also it's starting to look more dramatic. It's starting to look more like they're in shadows. And if you can see, like right in here, this is Reed's shadow casting across. So I went black here. So in the color, there'll be a nice fade from dark to light out. So I thought it would be better than putting a big black solid shape over her. So you'll get to see, it'll be semi-transparent, so you'll still see her clothes through here. So I thought it was a subtler idea and a way to take advantage of digital color. And so then, you know, we have the hush panel, which is the hand over the mouth. And I don't know if guys, you never do this to a woman, but he's trying to save her. She's a little feisty, and he doesn't want her to scream and give away their position.
There's a good reason.
Yeah. So, yeah, so there's the before, and then you can kind of see it's a lot more solid looking. The hand is beefier. It's also structured up. I redrew it a little bit. And so there's blacks for solidity, also to bring in the night aspects, or that there's not a lot of light in the room. She's in the dark. So you can see that. And you can see the stylized 90s thing going on here with these cool little action lines. So we've kept some of them, but some of them are a little bit overdone. So you'll still see those from time to time because I think we got, we have to pay tribute to the older stuff.
Yeah,
But
it's kind of, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
It's kind of a part of the aesthetic language, so some stuff is kept in like that.
Yeah, yeah. We're just kind of figuring out where it works and where it doesn't. In this case, it does work. So let's go to the eyes shot. The eyes have it. So you can kind of see that there's a little bit more shadow work done on the face, a little bit more detail. This is a little bit more open, not as solid. I used to do a lot of dot dash, like you can see it on the eye around the eyes here, and other places. And some of the dot dash stuff will still make its way through the series, but to make things more solid, I did away with some of them. So you can see it's a lot more simplified and a lot more solid. Okay, and this is what I'm most proud of. I think we showed this yesterday. So you can see Whitney's face. That's what it looks like. This is what it looked like in the 90s when women got really angry and they wanted to eat guys' faces.
Now they just get really angry and that's it.
And now this is what they look like. They're prettier. So yeah, there's a before.
Oh, Comic
After.
Legend asks, will you have a tier on Indiegogo where you have the old version and the new version of the comic?
You know what? I hadn't thought of that.
Maybe.
Would you guys want that? So let's put it to a vote. So if you would like to see, maybe we could do that as a ash can or maybe something so it wouldn't be as expensive. Or we could do it as a full comic. But give us your thoughts. Let us know what you think. That's not a bad idea.
We got 2 yeses.
We could do like here and now or before after maybe. Yeah, so you can see also that the lines aren't quite as solid. There's a lot of breaks in places. It was a stylistic decision. And here it's a lot more solid. Looking back, I wish I would have made the fists a little smaller. They're still a little big. When you look back at your work, sometimes you see things that you do inherently.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I did back then was fists were really big. And I remember I was working on the Flash and I was penciling some interior work and I was doing some cover. And Joan Hilty, my editor, said, you make hands really big. You should make them smaller, especially on your female hands. So, sometimes, like with the portfolio reviews, some inside critiques are good, especially if it's coming from somebody that you respect or somebody who's paying you to do something. Yeah, don't fight with those people.
MK says, we all know what they say about women with big hands. I don't think we do.
Big hands, big heart.
Oh, there
Is
you
that
go.
it? Big hands.
The better the high five.
Oh, I like that. What's that song? Big Hands, I Know You're the One.
Oh yeah, the Violent Femmes.
The Violent Femmes. Yeah, that's what she should be saying. Hey, big hands, I know you're the one. Or maybe he should be saying it right here. Yeah. So whenever you guys see this, you're gonna be thinking, "Oh man, those hands are really big. Art stinks."
That is not true. I think that they're the perfect size.
I think they fit her head. So yeah, so there's that. You can see the simplification in some of the other aspects in it. In Reed's, the black in Reed and some of his tunic stuff. By the way, gosh, I closed the other one out. But Black's tunic, that big tunic, I don't know if you guys remember the Manhunter character that Walter Simonson did way back in, gosh, it was probably the 70s, late 70s. That's where I got the idea from because I loved the idea that he had all these gizmos and stuff hidden in the tunic. So one of the things I was thinking is that the reason it's plated like this is we have Kevlar weaves and stuff like that, but in the 90s they were like these plates. And they just like cops they would like slide into their vests. So one of the ideas is, well, one was, you know, the Walter Simonson Manhunter vest, and that's why it's so big and overblown. And two was that each one of these little sections here were little plates that had, you know, Kevlar or some kind of, you know, protection from bullet. And boy, in the story, spoiler alert, it's very necessary because he gets jacked.
MK would like to know if any of the dialogue in this scene is going to change. Do we want to give that away?
Go ahead, Taylor. Well, we don't want to tell you actual dialogue, but you can talk about the story and the dialogue.
We did update the script, so it is a fully remastered version of the story. It's the same story you love, just remastered. So the dialogue will be similar, but probably a little updated, a little different. So the story is pretty much. Would you say it's pretty much the same?
It's pretty much the same, but it's majorly enhanced. So, like in this scene, this is a 3-panel or 3-page scene. So right after this page, there's a brand new page.
That's right.
That we're drawing and we're doing. So there's going to be like extensions of scenes and things that we couldn't really do because when my wife and I did this, got the green light from Image 25 years ago, we had limited time. So we had 3 issues that were okayed. So 3 issues is really hard to tell a brand new story, you know, beginning, middle, and end. So there was a lot of compromise that we had to do back then. And so with the remastering that Taylor and I are doing, my wife's coming in as editor as well, so she's still going to be part of this process. But I don't think she can work with me anymore because I'm a pain in the ass. So Taylor's young and she's more open to to the being used and abused aspects of my personality. After this, you can ask her these questions and she'll tell you all about, you know, my abuse.
No.
That's what they want to hear, though. They want to hear the dirt. They want to hear the dirt. So yeah. So like right after this, so Reed introduces himself. I'm not going to tell you everything on the next page, but the next page we get to evolve and we get to kind of backtell their connection a little bit, which in the original story we weren't able to do because it moves really, really fast. So the best way I could also explain the story overall, if there's any Big Trouble in Little China fans,
yes.
This is kind of it's sci-fi action adventure with a spy vigilante twist, but it also has humor. So it's not meant to be too serious because there's some pretty broad stuff that happens in here. So so there's some fun elements. I wouldn't say it's as, what would you say? Well, it's not quite as broad as Big Trouble, right?
No, but it is definitely the tone of how comics used to be back when they were more targeted towards a wider audience, even with like darker subject matter, I think.
Yeah, so it's still really, really fun, and it has a 90s sensibility to it. So we didn't write that totally out of the story, but it's definitely enhanced, and there's a lot more backstory, and there's a lot more character stuff in the story, and the plot we were able, since we had more space, is the plot we were able to expand on it a little bit, give more backstory, more detail, especially in the villain situation. So I know I spent a lot of time on that. But
it's cool. Like we got to elaborate on a lot of motives and backstories and stuff, like Art said, and I think that's one of the stronger aspects of the script. Somebody wanted to ask what you think is the ideal number of issues to tell like a beginning, middle, end type story.
Well, it depends. I mean, if it's a brand new series and brand new concepts, it depends if it's really character driven, if it's plot driven. It really depends. It depends on how many characters are involved, how epic the story is. So, you know, like Watchmen, you couldn't tell in 3 issues. You probably couldn't even do it in 6. 8, I still doubt it. So 12, you know, because it's a pretty in-depth plot and there's a lot of characterization. So I'd say the more plot you have and the more characterization, the longer it's going to be, and the more cast of characters you have. So the more detailed the plot is, the longer it's going to tell, and the more characters you have, the longer it's going to be to tell. So like Black and White, we could do it as 3 issues because I thought it had a pretty good, you know, 3 issues is beginning, middle, and end. So if you think about it, like the math is easy. So, you know, you have setup, you have your conflict, and then you have your major, like, oh, you know, at the end of the second issue, like, oh, what are they going to do? How are they going to get out of this? And then the third act or the third book is basically the resolve, how they triumph over, you know, the adversity and the villain. So yeah, but it's gonna be 2 issues instead of 3. The original was 3, but to get a graphic novel format, we're going to do it as 2 48-page graphic novels. So the first issue is going to be the first graphic novel is going to be the first 2 issues.
Volume 1.
Yeah, and so my wife really pushed for that, Pamela, and I think Taylor and I were a little bit hesitant because we saw the amount of work that was going to be involved, because the 2 issues now have to flow into each other, where they were very traditional comics before, where they had a major cliffhanger and then a splash opening. Well, you can't do that in continuity.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of create a couple new pages to buffer the scene from the cliffhanger to, you know, how they get out of it. So there's going to be a lot of new pages, and one of the things we're going to have on the Indiegogo as well is Taylor and I have some ideas for new pages, even beyond the ones that are going to be in the remastered. And so if we can overfund as one of the stretch goals, we will have a lot of new pages. So there's going to be a lot of new content, not just the remastering, but a lot of new pages and things like that. So I can't wait to get that to you guys. Let's go back. Okay, so we have Reed. The face, you can see the eyes are a little too high. They're a little too widespread. One of the things back then is there was a lot of hatch work and there wasn't a lot of solidity. So you can kind of see there's a lot of kinetic movement going on in the earlier stuff, but it's just not very solid. And comics now are they're a lot more solid than they were. So, you know, this is definitely, you know, a lot more solid, a lot bolder, more dramatic, I think. And I think it's a lot better suited for color. And in these panels too, you can definitely see the extension of the art. So you can see the panel here and the panel here, the space. And so with the new page, you can see the reformatting going on here. And also, once we put the word balloons in here, it's going to look a lot better because aesthetically it's going to have some breathing room in there, which the original did not have. So these are way better compositions as well than the originals were, I think.
I think it'll fill out nicely. Did we already explain why this is longer? I think we talked about it.
Well, if you want to reiterate, go for it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but comics back in the day were actually slightly wider. So we had to kind of do some digital magic and reformat these things. They weren't wider necessarily all the way. It was like the gutters were wider, right? There was less.
Well, with the actual paper page, like comic books. Probably shouldn't do this.
I don't know if you
shouldn't
should
do this.
show them that.
I won't show them
Here,
that.
wait. I know.
I have a comic book here, and I could kind of show you. Oh, while we're doing it, hey, look at this. See if you can see it. We just got our comps, our Supersonics comps. So this is issue 2. I almost flipped it open to show you guys. Actually, I think they already previewed the first page of this.
You can compare it to the old. We got the old black and white
Okay.
here.
Um,
Wish I had another issue.
we do have some of the other Super Sons here, don't we? The trade. Oh, they're right here. Do you have yours in your bag?
Yes, I do. All right, check this out, you guys.
Let's see.
Oh, Rodwell says congrats on leaving DC.
Oh yeah, I said that on Ethan's show.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, I can't find a good example, but what it was is like the old ones, the actual dimension here is shorter from here to here. So in the old comics, there was a lot more room on the top and on the bottoms here. So the page layout wasn't really in sync with the paper size. So the comics are about the same, but the space in the gutters is more. So like the space here, if you can see it, was a lot more back then. Now it closes in a lot more. So yeah, it's a different layout. So you can see here it's squattier, and then here the new one, it's longer. So it looks leaner, but the dimensions are the same here. It's just longer. So it utilizes the paper a lot more, because I think they're the same size.
Yeah, I think they're about.
Yeah.
It's sleek and new.
So we got that. So let's go to the next page. The Thwack page.
It's a good one. They're all good ones.
Okay. So this will be the last. We're probably boring you guys. But
They love it.
this is us bragging on all the work. So
Look
you
at all this cool stuff we did.
Yeah, look at this. We're awesome. Yeah, so this is without the word balloons on it. So this is the 94 version. And then this is the remastered version.
Seeing your art is never boring, says Greg.
Well, thanks, Greg. So here's the remastered. So you can see, once again, a lot more solid. The structuring. There's some retooling on the faces. Once again, the outlines are a lot more solid, bolder. Her face is totally redrawn. And this panel is totally reworked. The layouts are totally different. So let's go comparison panel by panel. So there's
The whack, says the chat.
the whack. Yeah. Yeah, some of the sound effects we kept just because they're gonna make it into the remastered, but some of them did not make the grade, so sadly. So here's the first panel, and here's the first panel. So you can see her eyes are longer. This juts out way too far. So in the new version, you can see it's toned back. Her jaw isn't as big. The nose bridge isn't as long. The eye is not as long. So it's subtle things. Well, I don't think they're so subtle, but some people might, because that was a lot of work. And this is why it works. It's good to have people that you trust, that you work with, or that you have in your life. Because Taylor helped me restructure this arm. This was with her input. Yeah, we did that yesterday in the hand.
It takes a lot of work to make things look this subtle.
Yeah. So you can see also that we added, there's space here, and that we moved these guys down. So these guys here, the second panel is moved down, so there's a lot more breathing room here, which compositionally looks better. And also we were able to make this area breathe better, where it's very, very congested in there. And the reason we had to do that is we had to elongate the composition to fit the new layouts. So we have that. Let's find the Thwack panel.
Look at how cute she is now.
Yeah, she's not that. And also you can see that there's not a lot of top of the head and stuff like that. So in 25 years I got better. So you can see that she has the top of a head now, and structurally it's a lot more sound. The body, you can see it's a little bit more proportional.
Wow, what a difference, says Win. People really dig
here.
this page.
Oh, cool. Like right here. The muscles and stuff were also simplified and more blacks brought in. So, and then the poor orderly, you can see how he was changed. I didn't bring the eyes down as much as I have been with these others, because like I said in the past, I would make, well, she's not, that's just messed up, but a lot of the distance from the eyes to the nose. So with him, it fit the character. So he's got a long nose bridge. So I kept that in the final version and simplified and brought a lot of blacks in. Oh, should we tell them? We see if they would want to do it.
Maybe, should we?
Yeah.
You guys, how would you feel if this character was you?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
So one of the ideas is like, you know how you get drawn into a comic book? We were thinking that this character is in 3 pages, I believe.
Yeah.
This orderly guy. So we were thinking if you guys would want to be drawn in to the comic, and we can put your face here. And the thing that might be cool is he's got a badge. And so one of the things that you could have too is we could make a badge, like the orderly badge. So you could actually be in character. So you'd have like a souvenir from your character, which would be an orderly badge with your, let's say like Maltese Mental Hospital, you know, like what would be like top security or high security or whatever. And then your face would go in here as a tier.
MK said, I would just do the badge name as a perk. I think they like the character design.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you mean just like make a badge and then have
I think have the
somebody's
name.
face in it and their name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have the name on the badge. That'd be a cool cameo. But you guys, you'd get to be able to get smacked by Whitney.
Yeah, by a lead character. But yeah, we'll see. Let us know. Give us some feedback. And so then this panel was also a big redesign, and it had to do with my lack of understanding with perspective. So one of the things is I really enjoyed coming back on the work and being able to see, because I think too you can learn from your past, so you can find things that you did, and like I said, sometimes they're habitual, that you just do them all the time, but you don't realize it until you look back at your old work, what you did. And so this is the end of the door, meaning that the other wall would be here, which isn't really drawn in. And so she's up really, really high in the composition. So if she was going upstairs or she was on a different level than these guys, it would work, but she's not. So she's up really, really high in the composition to the perspective and the floor. So what we did, when I say we, sometimes I'll block this stuff out and then Taylor will come in and clean it up, just because it's really, really time consuming. And we kind of work that way anyways when we work for DC and Marvel. So you can see that the floor line was brought down, so there's no door. You can't see the end of the wall here, and you can't see the end of the wall here. So it's lower here, and then I brought her down. Taylor helped out with the background, but I brought her down here. So now she's more in perspective with the figures in the background. So there's a lot more cohesiveness in the panel, and it's more it's drawn correctly versus the way it was. So there's going to be a lot of stuff like that. And then this reed face.
MK says it's 110% better.
thanks. 110 is exactly the percentage I was going for. So yeah, so once again, long, eyes small, push back, mouth's not big enough. So a lot of stuff going on that's not quite correct. So there's the new version here. So you can kind of get a sense of the rework.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and then the background guys, there's not a lot of change with those guys, but there's they're just more solid. I think I did redraw this hand here, but the outlines are a lot more solid, and there's a lot of blacks for dramatics. And one of the things I did was I took the door off here because they're kind of coming in this way. So I thought it would be better if this was an open doorway, like leading into another like open room, but not like another holding room like what she was in. So I just opened the whole thing up. So now it looks more like they're just running from another room. Like this could be a wide opening here instead of just a doorway. And so that could, I mean, to have that many people coming forward, you would have to have a pretty wide opening. So, and then I put a shadow back there because I wanted to keep it dramatic. Like there's not a lot of lighting. It's dark. It's at night. It's kind of scary. So yeah, that's it for that. So that's kind of our little introduction to the remastered. So I hope you guys like it. We spent a lot of time already. I think we have about 10, 15 pages remastered.
Oh yeah.
We have it being colored right now. We'll do some announcements as far as lettering and other talent that we have on the book when it's more appropriate time to do it.
Oh, MDK just says, very good, can't wait for the campaign to start. There's a lot of excitement and support in the chat right now.
So September, we only have like 10 more days. So Taylor and I are really, really nervous. We're trying to put the video together right now and trying to keep the remastered stuff going at a good pace and finding talent to work with. We may have, gosh, I want to say it, but we may have a letterer that's coming in. He's an old friend, and we may be doing that. Taylor was going to do the lettering, but the more we get involved in this, I think the more time consuming it's getting. So I think we're going to have to start, what do you call that? Sending things
Outsourcing?
out? Yeah, outsourcing. And
but all to very good professionals that we trust.
yeah, and Taylor's really good. Her design sense and everything is perfect, and I think she'd do a great job. So it has nothing to do with that. It's just a matter of time, just finding time to do everything. So this is all new for us too. So we're finding out the limitations of what we can do every day versus what the high ideals and pie in the sky dreams are.
We start off very optimistic every single
Oh
time
my
before
God.
reality sets in.
Yesterday, we kicked butt.
We
right?
had it yesterday.
Yeah, today, well, the day before yesterday was Kick Taylor and Art's butt day, and today was the same thing, where what we had planned for the day and what we ended up getting done for the day were two completely different things. So yeah, we have that. And as far as Hacks Chat, but this will go for any time Taylor and I ask a question. We had this fun thing that we were thinking of doing. And also, I can't say enough good things about EVS. Ethan is so generous. I know I've said this. I haven't met anybody this generous in this industry in a long, long time. And all the other guys are great too, but Ethan's the one that's really sharing his success, his channel with us and helping us kind of build our platform off of his. And I can't say enough how amazing that is that somebody would actually do that. And I know he gets a lot of flack and a lot of people call him names and stuff, but I assure you, that's not the case. He's not like that at all. But anyway, so
Thanks, Uncle E.
Uncle E. So what? Okay, we.
How do we explain this?
Yeah, we ask a lot of questions of you guys. Like, hey, like the other day, what was it? It was like, I sang a lyric for a song, and I was like, what's the name of that band? And then you guys went Quarter Flash. Oh, Harden My Heart or something like that. And then you guys said Quarter Flash. So then I was thinking, okay, we gotta. That's so cool that you guys come up with that. That you're so in tune with what we're talking about, and that you can help us out. So for being part of it, I don't know if this is an older thing, a guy thing, and I don't know if Marvel does this before, but they used to have these Marvel no prizes. So whenever you would help out Marvel, or you would write a letter, or no, I think it's when you found a flaw or something like that.
That's right. You could write them in and tell them.
Yeah, you could tell them, and then they would give a Marvel no prize. Well, what the Marvel no prize was literally no prize, but it was hilarious. So they would acknowledge that you get the no prize, but you would get nothing. So we were thinking of our own take of the no prize, and so we were thinking like that we could pay you guys for helping out. So you would be on the payroll, like the Hack Shack payroll. But what we would be paying you guys in would be, are you guys ready? Are you ready? We would be paying you in frog money, in cyber cash, yes, in God we trust.
In Frog we trust.
In Frog we trust. Ethan dollars, whatever you guys want to call it, just start naming it. But what we would do...
Frog bucks, they're shouting.
Yeah, I like frog bucks, frog money, frog dollars, cyber dollars, cyber bucks,
cash.
cyber cash. We could even go dinero. What is some of the others like from different
Real
currency?
greenbacks.
Oh gosh, yeah, a greenback. What is it? Oh, the treasury note.
Oh gosh.
Well, what are some of the like China has yen, and then there's peso. Rubles. So it could be the green ruble.
The frog peso.
The frog peso, yeah. But anyway, what we would do, and you guys would have to instigate this. We would acknowledge you, but what you would have to do is send us your email. And then what we would do, like if you're the guy like that helped us out, like the Quarter Flash guys, like, there were 3 of you. I think there were 3. So all of you would get, I couldn't, we could just give it to the first one that does it. But, as long as they're in quick, succession, that's the word, yeah, succession, then what we would do, I'm getting too excited here. So then what we would do is, like if they're 1, 2, 3 in a row, then all of you guys would get, a cyber buck or a frog money or whatever. And so it's just, I think it would just be a fun way to show that to Ethan, like that his spirit is alive, in the Hacks chat. And
in Frog we trust.
Oh, in Frog we trust. And then what we could do is it would just be fun, and then we could send you an email of the $1. Well, this is $100, but yeah.
You got to do a lot to earn this particular frog buck.
Maybe we could do different currency if I don't know. See, this is why we never get anything done, because we keep thinking of more things to do.
We're remastering a book and then also making frog bucks.
Trying to do a video, and yeah. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, if you guys want a frog buck, some cyber money, then anytime, feel free to help us out if we ask a question, and the first person that answers will get some soyba money. So anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap it up now. You guys have a great night and enjoy your weekend. You have a party shot?
Pollywog pesos, that's great. Okay. Thanks. I'm gonna be adding some links to this video once it's done processing. Join the newsletter so you can be kept up to date on the black and white news. Do we want to plug the raffle?
Yeah. We have a newsletter on the Art by Thibert site, and so they only go for a month, and they're exclusive to newsletter
Subscribers.
subscribers. Yeah.
And you can get in on that, but you got to join the newsletter to get in on the raffles and to get in on the other exclusives. So join that. There's also an official Black and White Facebook. So check the links after this.
And if you guys have any friends that like frog humor, frog money, or ex spies and hot crazy chicks, and black and white justice, please turn them on to Hacks Chat and the YouTube here. We appreciate it. I think we were only 70 something away from 1,000. So
So close.
yeah, the hopes are to get the numbers up and be able to reach as many people as possible. So then when we get the campaign going, we can get the word out to more of you. So if you have any friends that are on the fence, that like this kind of entertainment, then please turn them on to the YouTube.
All right, you guys. Thanks for joining us.
See ya.